you old? Huh?
Well, no, I'm not.
Don't be going there.
I got you. You don't want to be either, right?
Hell, I ain't old.
I felt like it for about 3 weeks, I tell you. My grandkid weren't very happy with me either.
Why's that?
Because I couldn't get her stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, Grandma usually chases after her. Grandpa's not as accommodating as I am. How was the highway meeting?
Good.
Yeah.
I think we got quite a few points across some, so.
Good. A lot of people at the 3 o'clock meeting.
There wasn't a lot of people there, no. There really wasn't. But I don't know how the public went. I haven't talked to Jonathan or anything, so.
I saw in the news, looked like there were quite a few people lingering around. The news was up there later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got 17 things.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I had plenty of time, but this was just laying in the car. And the two of them are coming in as a left. That was on the skids.
Is that what?
That's what
It didn't say.
That's what it is.
Morning.
That's when
Morning.
you're very happy with it. They're the ones that have the cattle thing. It's on skids and they move the cows and have calves and stuff. But Carol and Kaylee showed up there to measure. They told me it was too big. And I thought Kaylee was going to wait until upstairs. Carol, the part-time person, and Kaylee. I thought they were going to wait until we decided.
I think they're just going off of what there is right now.
Evidently. Anyway. I just told him to come in.
How you feeling, Linda?
Good. Good.
Ready to take on a one-legged man, but ready for it?
What's that?
I see you ready to take on a one-legged man, but.
Yeah, right. That's cute. It has all.
I don't know, haven't heard any more, but you did hear Rich pass away. Rich on.
Yes. I didn't know it was picked up in that.
He was not good.
And so the father had mass Saturday night.
Yes. And then apparently got feeling bad again, they called him ER then.
I gotcha. He's too young for that.
Yep.
And you have a meeting this afternoon, don't you?
Yeah, tell you what, that Tuesday holiday is just
Yes,
wreaking
exactly.
havoc.
Didn't it? That's what Chad said.
All the water districts passed the same bylaws in 1965, so they're all their meetings are on Tuesday. As it said, the standard bylaws said the second Tuesday of the month. Some of them changed in some smart ones.
No. What time's that? Okay, so I'll be there when I can for a second. All right. Okay. All right, sounds good. No, I did not remember this page for that. So. Okay. So you're going to it too? Okay. All right. Sounds good. No, I'll slip over and then I'll walk over. Okay. All right. Sounds good. See you later. Bye. And another thing to add.
Sorry.
I started doing that on the Christmas. He was bitching about that online, so it's
This is the flip one?
It's under.
No.
It's a thing.
When it says these regulations, I think it means zoning. These regulations are. Yeah, I don't think this is the floodplain
Well, it's okay.
resolution.
What it says.
Except in floodplain areas. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So if your structure is in a defined floodplain, it still applies.
It still applies. But so one of the things that I had a conversation with Kate about is that one of the reasons we be part of this federal floodplain thing is so that people can get flood insurance.
Yeah.
If we're not using it, or they can. And so that's why we have to affiliate the liability with the floodplain.
Yep.
And it could affect possibly ability to get disaster insurance in case it's
And I take that in whole to mean that the zoning generally is agricultural, and then, but it comes back in plain floodplain. So they got to be licensed built.
one of the questions we Kate has said that if it's affordable, it should be assessed at a value of personal property. Yes. You will say.
Yeah. I think it's a different question in the sense that I think the appraisal standards are different
I don't know.
than what would be the zoning
So
requirements.
that's waiting on us to buy something.
Well,
Or
we'll go
something.
through this.
Oh, there's no tax there.
You're leaving it.
Yeah, well, it's gotta be before that, it's probably gonna
Like you get up.
be, well, 11:30 perhaps.
Good morning.
You survived.
Good. I ran away Friday, so
Uh-huh.
great.
You can't catch it, it's all good.
Exactly. How do you eat?
I won't race you, but it's good.
I don't know, you might think beat me then.
It's all right.
My right knee's not doing good. This is just a girl that was sent out.
So, Chris, if Chris and Amy Bloom are coming down to discuss something,
I think it's a portable.
okay, I'd check with the chairman.
Kate has a meeting until 11:30. She's in conference,
Already asked.
9 to.
She won't be able to come.
You should wait from 9.
Yeah, I can ask her to come down as soon as she gets done.
I'd like to have a conversation prior to her being, them being here, just so I have a better understanding. But you're saying she's in,
Yeah, she said she's got conference from 9 to.
okay. All right.
My understanding is that the data collectors went out there and measuring their quarterly building. And something was said about it being portable and movable. And then one of the replies from one of the data collectors was, we'll just remove it.
There was something about in 6 years, if it wasn't something wasn't done in 6 years, that they just can't remove it or something. And I know Andy must have said, well, in 6 years we'll deal with it or something. I don't know. He's actually a real estate appraiser, and I know he's talked to Nemaha County and he called property valuation. He had some different theories than what they had, and like I say, he just wants to listen about it.
Right, but we need somebody down here
And
from
that's-
their office
yeah,
that
that'd be
that can define and show, because the way I understand.
Maybe Kaylee can help me out.
But we'll approve that through the
Right,
chair, that
right.
if we can.
Yeah, we need somebody down here from the office to answer
Right.
questions.
Prior to
Yeah.
this going on, if we can put that on the agenda.
You want to flip that in at 9, Bill? 10:15?
Todd,
Todd, you have
Yeah,
one?
I don't have anything really, so.
Okay, so slip that in at 10:15.
That'd be fine.
Let's wait until
Talk about.
it's 9 o'clock. Wait till the clerk is off.
So, they just want those men to come in before they come, just to kind of go over it.
10:15.
Okay.
All right, at 9 o'clock, the local meeting is pledged. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Kate is on her way down.
She's on her way down now.
At 9 a.m.
Right out of the gate.
All right, so I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented with the addition of Kate at 9 o'clock.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the agenda as written with the addition of Kate. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye, all opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Remember the date. I'm going to forward you on an email that we got, just so you can kind of review it.
Good morning.
Hi, Kate.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Hi.
So, the portable buildings, we've had that little bit of conversation about that. I believe in the past, our conversation up here has been that that whole idea that portable buildings are not taxable is a myth. Correct?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
is there something in here?
is there something in the regulations? There is nothing in the regulations about portable buildings.
Okay.
Talking about value, not,
If we are talking about value,
okay, that's what the concept for getting at
Right.
first is the fact that if they're there lawfully or not, by zoning or
Right.
floodplain is kind of
right,
over
that's a separate
here.
issue.
Right.
And presuming they resolve those and it's supposed to be there and lawfully there, then how do we value that?
So on the valuing aspect of it, it's determining if it is portable, then it should technically be a value that's personal property at 30% assessment rate. But we don't do that. It would just go on as real estate, either at 11.5% or 25% assessment rate. 25% assessment rate for ag buildings.
So can I stop you there? So ag buildings, just so everybody's clear.
Yeah.
If I build a machine shed and I park ag equipment and I have an active farming operation of some sort going on, it is assessed at what rate?
25%.
For an agricultural building. And that is money that comes to the county.
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, continue on. Sorry. I mean, if you had more to say on
No,
it.
that's pretty much.
And I think we've discussed this before, and that's one of the things we're going to discuss this afternoon. There is a size that is if it's under, what, 350
That's
square feet
how
or
it has
something?
been used in the past,
Okay.
that if it is under 350, and at one point it was 250 square feet,
Okay.
then we wouldn't
Okay.
do a building permit, which has brought up issues with where those structures are being located. how
Right.
they're being
Okay.
But that's not anywhere in the book either, right?
So when we look at a portable building, if somebody has a portable ag-related building, is there something somewhere that defines it and says it should be taxed as personal property? Where do we find how you would tax something as personal property?
That would be in the personal property guide, not our zoning regulations.
So, and then I have another, so if somebody buys a UTV to use for ag purposes, you can get an exemption so that you don't pay personal property, correct? Linda, is that right?
That's right.
Okay. So is
As farm machinery and equipment, there is an exemption for that.
correct farm, and it doesn't have to be verified. I mean, the UTVs have to,
Yeah.
but if I buy a tractor, I don't have to report it to if I buy a plow or
Like
it is,
implements,
right?
yeah.
It's just UTVs, ATVs, anything else? Am I missing
I'm
anything?
going to step out and just going to take this call from Gerhardt.
Okay.
Ag trailers,
Ag trailers that are not tagged.
right.
What I'm trying to find is I've got some emails, I've gotten some information that talk about it's been the county's policy to not look at portable buildings since the 80s, but I can't find any information on that.
The statute, I mean, it doesn't, I looked at it, and it doesn't give those kind of sharp distinctions. It just says a real estate tax is determined by improvements to the property.
Okay.
And that's dividing line in my mind, which I think that's obviously the building is portable as an edge case in the sense that technically, if it's not on a foundation, it can be moved and it's not an improvement to the property. In the ATV is an example. I mean, the ATV is, nobody sells their farm real estate says the ATV comes with it. You know, it's not an improvement to the property. So, I mean, I think you're judging based upon the factors that are not statutory in the sense that I'm not sure that they define in any real way what is an improvement so that we could make a distinction. I think that's kind of up to appraisal guidelines, because that's the other thing that they take into account. They basically, the statute basically said it'll be appraised according to established, whatever your books are.
Okay, I want to read you something real quick. Here it says, the following described property, to the extent specified by this section, shall be exempt from all property or ad valorem taxes levied under the laws of the state of Kansas, all farm machinery and equipment. The term farm machinery and equipment means personal property actually regularly used in farming and ranching. This would include portable agricultural structures and buildings used in any farming operation or ranching. Can we define a building as ag equipment?
The example that they showed with that was a structure that we code as a 479, so a three-sided structure. It was an all-metal construction, like a steel construction, and it had gates and a squeeze chute, like built into that structure. So we don't pick up gates and squeeze chutes and all of that. That would be the farm equipment.
Right.
So that structure was constructed for that purpose. Now, if you're talking any other building that is just open, I mean, to me, that's not a call that I as an appraiser would make. It would go on the Board of Tax Appeals.
This was Todd, for your information, it's KSA 79-201J.
So like Carol and Kaylee, they're out like measuring these portable buildings out.
Yeah, measuring all buildings that we picked up on that ELD.
Okay. And so they're going off of what the measurements we thought before, the
300.
300 square feet.
Say that again.
What, how much is it?
300.
350.
So is that what they're going off of? Measure?
To determine whether if it's 600 or 400.
If they can tell that it's portable, when we're looking at an Eagle View overhead, we can't tell if it's a portable building or not.
Well, this on first one, they're on the agenda today, and so Carol, they had been up there and measured the building and said it was too big to be portable. It's the one that had been tipped over on its side, and it is a cattle building that they move whenever cows are
Yeah,
calving
it's
from
like
one,
a 12 by 36
from
or
one
something
farm
like
to
that.
the other. They put it on a trailer and move it. But then something was said about in 6 years, it wasn't put on or something. What is that?
Well, as we go through, whatever we determine in the next 6 years, as we visit properties for the 17%, if we're not putting on these portable buildings, but we're gonna put them on unless we are guided not to do that. Now, as far as the portable structures and PBD's guidance on that,
PBD is
Property Valuation Division, on how we deal with these structures. Now, there are some structures that, like I said, are specifically designed as these squeeze chutes and things. I have never seen one here in the county yet. But there again, if, like ATVs, UTVs, if in doubt, we put it on. And a taxpayer can take that to the Board of Tax Appeals to say, and they make that determination. Because my determination is I put it on as an agricultural building, unless it can be proven that it is
So,
solely used for the purpose of that.
so I think for the purposes, and that's why I'm having you down here, is to deal with this 11 o'clock. And I think you've answered that. It appears to me that this group needs to have more of a discussion before we continue and make a decision on some of these buildings. It may be that we're wasting an enormous amount of time on portable buildings, your time, and are we really gaining anything if we determine that a portable building that's 600 square feet, what value does it have, and is it really valuable enough to go out and make these determinations, spend the time to get it put on?
Well, it's also being fair and equitable, because if somebody has a 600 square foot building and
Correct.
they came in for a building permit and it's sitting there, that person that builds a 600 square foot building, it's technically, you can move any building that includes a house or anything
Right.
from one location to another, if you so choose.
Sure you can.
So,
You can
if
pick
you
it
have
up
to
off the concrete
disassemble it,
and, yeah.
if it meets a certain size that you can't take it down a highway or a road without getting special permitting, I think that needs to be looked at too. So the discussion that we're gonna have this afternoon about all of these things,
Sure.
I think will play a part in that.
I agree 100%. I think there's a way to do this where it makes it simpler for both county and for the general public. So there's no rumor, so there's no myth of if it's built a specific way. We can get so caught up in the details. Let's figure out a way to make it simpler, so that we're not dealing with some of these situations and we're wasting a lot of, we're spending a lot of time going out and measuring structure. A visual would say, okay, that's a portable structure, okay? However, we're gonna deal with that, now let's move ahead. But that's why we need to have that conversation. I think that's, for me, being able to answer their question is to say, okay, time out, just give us a minute, let us have this conversation, let us take in what they have to say, and let's move ahead once we.
There isn't anything that's automatically exempt. Okay? So that needs to be clear right now.
So
that-
nothing is automatically exempt.
No, there's nothing that's automatically
Unless it's
exempt.
verified.
There's either a determination whether the state gives the county appraiser that role in determining like ATVs, UTVs, and when in doubt, you put it on, and the Board of Tax Appeals takes care of that. So structures in general are put on one way or the other. We're even talking about shipping containers.
Sure.
We now have guidance on how to value that. So if it's as much of a shipping container should be valued as personal property, then we need to start looking at that as we're doing our checks annually to collect those shipping containers as well.
Because
So
if we take things off, those property taxes are shared with the state.
yes.
And so therefore they have a say in, to a certain extent, is that
Well,
correct?
I don't know how I think what Kate's saying is you don't make a choice of putting things on or off. You can probably at the margins determine a category
Right.
as
Okay.
opposed to,
Thank you, that helps.
yeah, that's, so all the 79201, all of those are, you apply for those, you don't get, so
Right.
the thought would be that the structure is deemed to be taxable. Your owner would say, well, that's a farm machine or equipment, apply to the state, and then they say yes or no.
Okay.
So I would give my determination and I say this is what I see based on this, and they take it on the Board of Tax Appeals. The burden of proof is on that ag use taxpayer.
And one of the other questions that I've gotten in this email is, why would any ag building, it was in another, we shouldn't have building permits on any ag-related building. But the problem with that is that we're dealing with one right now that was built in floodplain. Or it's built too close to a property line because that individual doesn't know that there's a requirement that you can't build it right up next to a fence,
Right.
even if you have the property owner's permission.
Right.
Those are the things that become headaches that people don't understand.
And what if it's no longer being used for ag purposes
Correct.
at some point? Now you're in a non-compliant situation because that building is now too close to the property line, it doesn't meet the normal setbacks. So
Yeah.
all of those play into that.
And if you would, just quickly, we had a conversation last week about the whole floodplain thing.
Yes.
And if, because I asked the question, if we're not part of the federal floodplain thing,
Insurance program.
yeah, how does that affect the county and the people who live there?
So the people that need and want to get flood insurance can no longer get the flood insurance.
If we said, you know what, we're gonna wash our hands, we're not gonna be part of it, that's
So,
what would happen.
and if they need a federally backed mortgage and that mortgage requires flood insurance, then they don't have that option.
So there's some indirect things that we don't think about, that if we were to just eliminate some of these programs, that it would affect the public in
Yes.
general. And you spoke to possibly it would affect the county in the way that we would receive, or if we would receive,
Like grant money, certain grant money.
correct. Or if a disaster was here, those types of things.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
There's also things about we wouldn't get updates on the flood map. I think that's a big too.
Yep.
And those things.
There are lots of things that I have to contact the Division of Water Resource and to see what are the possible ramifications of not.
Thank you.
having that, so.
Okay. I'm good. See you this afternoon.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Thanks for coming down.
All right, Scott.
How are you?
How you doing?
Good.
Last Friday, we sent out the bid sheets for taking bids for bridge inspections for companies. So we got that out. We've asked for it to be returned by November 26th and be open here on December 1st.
And just real quickly, for the record, could you state why we do this? Why do we do this?
We have annual bridge inspections that have to be done every year
That are required
by the state.
by the state of Kansas.
So,
Yeah. Thank you.
Again, that goes, we have to send out the bid and select one.
So when people say there aren't state mandated,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are.
this is it.
Information, there's 186 bridges this year on our inspection list.
Yeah.
So to clarify that, 186 bridges on our inspection list from the maps that we looked at last week from BIA, are some of those included on?
No.
So
This would be an addition.
Okay.
Correct. If we had to do those.
If we have to do the ones on the reservation, it would be an addition.
Okay. All right.
Two different kinds. PIA bridges and they're private.
Right.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
There was,
three.
yeah, I mean, there's
One
three.
we're responsible for, one the BIA is, and one the tribe is.
And I've sent emails to the folks down in Oklahoma for the past week and a half, and got a response back. Again, they're on the state level, so they may be, closure and everything, not responding, or may not even be there
Yep.
at this point. Brightspeed, we got an email last week from Lauren Lewis.
I don't get it. I think they paid the whole thing. I think they paid them $20,000. Is that what you?
That's kind of why I got it.
The insurance company did?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember that. I'm not tracking it because,
90,000 and something. is what they said.
yeah, she said, got a release from Brightspeed, so they were more than glad to give them a release for 20, which is, I don't know, that's probably 80% of what was on that list, right?
You had two of them that's over 5,000, one that's 1,000, and then one that was, one that was almost 20,000 by itself. So, so if it were possible, around 35,000-ish, and then whatever, 20,000.
Yeah, we got that, and I looked at it because it doesn't track with what, see claim numbers or whatever.
Right.
Slice and dice to see what happened, but, I guess that's, it didn't cost you guys, it didn't cost the county anything.
But in the long run, it costs all of us.
Well, I mean,
That's the whole thing. In the long run, it costs all of us. It costs every taxpayer in the state.
yeah, and I don't know what the mentality is for that, because, there's always, insurance companies are always that way, which is split the difference and just get on down the road, because every, hour we spend with attorneys and, claims reps and stuff is just lost cost. You can't get it back. But like you said, yeah, that's not why Brightspeed.
Back either.
Yeah, why is Brightspeed, incentivized to put their lines in the proper place? And
I don't get it.
because they can write a letter and the insurance company just pays it. So,
Right, and she did mention that the $1,000 that we paid, that she thinks she can get that back, so she'll get it back to us. So
Alrighty.
we'll see.
I don't know why anybody's complaining.
Also got a email from her with the instructions on what to do for incidences and forms to fill out, so we have that in a book now at Road and Bridge, so if these things happen again, we'll get a report directly to them and get that all documented.
And we have something, there's something planned for teachers to come here and talk to you guys. What do they see? K-Camp itself, so that,
There was a inspector that was a third-party inspector that was up.
I met with them and took them around the county. The
But I still
whole,
haven't gotten anything for it.
Yeah, and then K-Camp did come by last week and inspected our shop and things like
well,
that.
I thought they were, come here and just gonna, show face a little bit.
they hire a third-party vendor now to do inspections, spot inspections. They're looking for just things like
Yeah.
plug-ins and extra heaters plugged in. They shoot all of our panel boxes to check for heat. Those kind of unsafe situations.
Yeah, I get you. So,
They did, when they visited out here with Keith, they had a couple things for Road and Bridge, and we're still waiting on information from them to correct the problems.
Yeah. They said it'd go to the clerk's office and they'll distribute it out from there.
We haven't seen anything yet.
Okay.
So now they're gonna come here so they can explain this to you guys or not, so.
One thing, speaking of K-Camp and stuff, and they did come out last week, it's a new guy that's doing it right man and moved up, doing something different. So they had a new guy out here that did the inspections. The main thing he hit on was our extension cords. Apparently you have to have a certified UL approved engineer put an in on a extension cord. So we have a lot of extension cords out there.
You gotta be kidding.
Not kidding. We have a lot of extension cords out there that are, according to him, not up to par. Let's see. The memorandum of understanding, we have employee that, we got that all signed, Aaron signed it last week, it was signed by the clerk, so Aaron signed it last week, got it back to Becky, which is going to get it to them. So we're all good with that. Hopefully by the end of the week on W Road, we're up to 278 on Big Rock, but they're hopefully laid out. We are,
And on that note, how is the rock from Addison? Better quality or?
well, Brandon spoke about that this morning. His concern is, he says it's great rock, awesome rock. He says, but his concern is it going to compact like the other ones? And he's afraid that they're big and with some, roadstone on top and get pushed off and stuff. He says, I hope I'm wrong. He says, but, that's kind of my opinion. So that's kind of where we're at. on that.
So we're gonna kind of wait and see on that.
Yes.
Okay.
On that, with our $250,000 set aside, Atchison does not bill but once a month, so we don't have bills, but we have been tracking the slips that have been coming in. So we're around 117,981.90, so we have that $250. And on the 4%, just regular money, we're up. Again, we don't have action on these rounding things off at 139, 180, 203. That's figures. A couple other things the guy pointed out about other extension cords is our buildings out here at the road and bridge. We don't have our pylons put in yet in front of the pillars on the building. We've got stuff ordered for it to take care of that. And that one fuel tank, the 2,000 gallon one needs out there. Need to put a couple in there also.
Are there specific, I mean, do we have to order something, or can we drill a hole and concrete in a piece of ivy?
We've been just getting the piping from Holt-Fidler Brothers.
Just get some
Yeah,
around
just
4 or 6 inch,
it's around 8 of 10 inch pipe.
then fill it with concrete.
Yes, we've done that for the new fuel barrels that are out there. And,
Paint them yellow and all of that. Paint them yellow, and
yeah, pretty simple.
but we install them.
The ones out here, we're going to get some locates called in around that fuel tank, the 2,000 gallon, because that's where our electrical line runs to that building, and we don't know what else may be ran through there, so we need to call it and check it out. Last week, they put a tube in on W Road 287, and then rocking. We had Jerry down here at 142, 118 EDF, Galen, E Road 230, 214, Landon finished up on J Road 270 to 238, and looks like within Timber Ridge, and Raymond 270, says Wise on that, and then the parallel up there we're hitting start today. Basically from H clear to the highway, I drove it last week. There's a bunch of potholes, but there's like potholes here, and then you go half mile down the road, there's more potholes. It's not like it's all in line, so we just probably go to the whole area there. Then I drove it parallel going east of the highway, and Lonnie had been down that recently with the grader, so it looked like it's in pretty good shape.
I just had one call this weekend about over on College Road out by Sullivan's. There's a tree that lost a branch and is partway in the road, and I don't know if the trees are in the right of way or not. I don't know if they're ours or his or whose, so.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Anything?
Well, I want to circle back, I'm sorry for this, I was looking at this email. I guess I want to be clear because she basically says all claims of this type should be to the insurance company. And I know your reaction was to have me act on it, so I guess, is that the policy now that you guys want to engage, is basically any claim of liability against the county for damage, they hit in the mailbox, hit in the underground utility.
She's saying they should just go straight to her.
Yeah. So, my concern is not with the liability position, you mentioned it all. Let's talk about my letter. I think there's more to the point of having insurance is that Ken has transferred the liability risk to KCAM. So really, it's more appropriate if KCAM is making these liability determinations. If we are notified of the claims via the portal, which our clerk has access to, we typically do and deal directly with those third-party claims, meaning the people who are actually sending letters, not rights collectors, without having trouble or to involve the county at all And the last thing we should have to do is write a check and say no liability deductible. And here you go. We have the added benefit of decades of claims experience in this office, in addition to a backlog of similar, nearly identical claims with the other member counties to be able to reference going back to years and years. It's part of the service you're already paying. So,
I guess if all they're doing is writing the check when the claim comes in and they're not investigating it, because what if it wasn't our fault? Can they provide proof that they're investigating it and?
yeah, I think she's overstating to a warrant in the sense that I don't think you guys have delegated authority to the insurance company to make decisions on liability.
Yes.
I
It's
mean-
like you're gonna take the claim and write a check.
I mean, that's the implication of what was said, which is that essentially you get a claim in of whatever nature, knock over mailbox to death, and you just got to turn it over to them and they make all the decisions. And, you know, it may be writing checks, and you're only on the deductible in some cases, not in others.
Would it be of value of this board to have a representative come speak before us so that we can have a question answer and figure out, are they doing any kind of investigation? Are they calling road and bridge? Are they verifying what is said in some way?
On our side of that email, like I said, the form, that when we do have any incident, they want us to fill the form out and send it to them. That way they have a record of what happened, when it happened. And she's also said they would investigate then at that point. And then, like these other ones here, we didn't get claimed on them until almost a year later. So,
Well, I guess that's two, because one of them, did you even know you hit it? Because it was like in the road and run over by a grader, right?
yeah, there's always buried that he running around.
Yeah, did the guy know he hit it when he hit it? Or-
He saw it come up,
Okay.
so we called.
But the requirement is that they have to have it buried deep enough so you won't hit it.
Yeah, and agreed that, and I'm just trying to figure out how you do it if you don't know you did it.
Right. Which usually you get phone calls saying, hey,
Yeah,
our
there's,
Wi-Fi's out.
Yeah.
no, and that could be the case, that's, you're gonna figure it out eventually, so maybe that's just no big deal.
I think for my peace of mind, that it would be a good idea to have somebody from K-Camp come up here
Just need that.
so that we can
Yeah.
voice our opinions as to what's going on, because I'm not happy that they just write a check and say, oh, there you go.
Yeah, I want to have that. I want to be able to ask that question. How are you investigating? What are you doing? How are you determining when you do this, whether you write a check or not? So yeah, I think it would be nice to invite them up to have a conversation.
Just simply because, like I said, it was said, well, it doesn't affect us that much. No, but it affects every taxpayer in the state of Kansas. I just don't like that attitude. I don't like the premise that they're just going to write a check and write it off, and everybody's going to be fat, done, and happy, and go down the road. I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like the kind of broad scope of that either, as I said, you guys have given up your decisions on liability payments.
And affect the premiums down the road.
Yeah,
So
that's what I'm saying. It's going to affect it somewhere down the road. I would just soon get them up here, get an answer out of them, and see
is
if
that
we
something
can
we
come
can
up.
have to do it, just an email to them to invite them to be on the agenda at their convenience?
Sooner rather than later.
Is that Lauren Lewis is the person who wrote me? So
She's
senior claims rep,
Claims rep for us, and
because, and I don't have a problem writing back and saying,
Oh,
to say, hey, this isn't, we need to understand.
yeah, I guess if you want to do that, I mean, you guys are okay with it?
but I'd still like somebody in person to come up and speak here, because like I say, I'm frustrated with that.
Right, I think the email would be, hey, the commission would like to have you reach out to the county clerk and get on their next agenda,
Yep.
or next available to them agenda.
Well, if for somebody.
Somebody from their office who can engage in a question and answer.
So they've got a lawyer who's since,
We don't want the lawyers.
not done yet, bitch. But there, I think he's more like a promo guy. Get somebody on the team.
Thank you.
We'll do it.
The only other thing did we need to talk about our candidates? Mark was gonna get some information.
Yep, I got some information this morning, so let's go back into executive session for that. We can take care of that right now.
All right. I know we go into executive session for the purpose of non-elected personnel matters of non-elected personnel for a period of 15 minutes, starting at 9:38. To reopen this chamber to include our clerk, our attorney, and Scott for the matter of review of personnel record.
I'll second it.
It has been properly moved and seconded to go into executive session as previously stated. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Hi, Jerica.
Okay, so come back into session and we make a decision on how we're going to handle the payment for uniforms for Gerhardt out of Road and Bridge. When did the policy go into place? When did we make a decision to pay the amount? Do you remember?
I don't. I'd have to go back and look at the minutes.
He hasn't had uniforms all year.
Yeah, sure, it's short. And, you decide just to have.
I mean, that's where I'm gonna have to look at is see when we put that into place or when we agreed to do that. Because I don't think that we could go back and do the full amount if we didn't have that in place at the first year. I mean, I think retroactively we could do it, but I don't know that legally we could do it. You see what I'm saying? I don't know.
I mean, wasn't it like August or so when you started talking about the uniforms? Or
Oh, no, it was.
was it previous to that?
But it was last September, that we went on board with them, and they won, they had problems. And,
Well, I think what she means is when we decided to do the $750 stipend for the uniforms.
March, April, something like
I don't think so.
I didn't think it was that long ago.
I didn't either.
I'm gonna have to have Christie go back and look at that and see, because I don't know, I don't think it was that long ago, Scott. So we'll look at that and see. But I don't know that we can do the full amount if we didn't have it in place in the first year, if we put it in place in July, let's say.
I mean, that's.
I mean, it's sort of strange to do it, but-
Well, when this employee becomes eligible too, I guess, is that what that's saying? I mean,
So I thought at that time we said that Gerhardt would be paid stipend and the other two would not.
well,
Can I just help her?
Yeah, so let's check
I'd
on
rather,
that.
yeah, we just have, we gotta get it back.
We'll check on that and figure that out, so. Okay.
Table for that.
Yeah. Oh, maybe we'll have an answer by the end of the day, hopefully. So,
All right.
all right, Anything else, guys?
I do not.
All right. Scott, thank you, appreciate it.
So you day.
All right, Jerica, you're up.
Good morning.
How are you?
Tired. I've been taking care of my dog all since last Tuesday. He had surgery on his ears. He's deaf. He's got really narrow ear canals. So I just have the final stuff for Fiddler today. I've gotten all of my due diligence done. I've gotten with IT about the last bit of stuff that I needed to verify, which was that they did not want to host. They weren't comfortable hosting, so they recommended going with the Baptist services with Fiddler. So I just have that purchase order that I had presented previously, and then I have the user agreement that he had sent over. And I was able to get the Bastion implementation of $5,000. He did waive that for me, so I did get it reduced by $5,000 for the total.
Okay.
So with this, they just need, obviously, me to sign the contract. I went ahead and signed my side of it and just made a copy for you guys to see. That way you will have the agreement as well. And then once they get the agreement, then they'll start the implementation process, and then we should be ready to roll by this time next year. And then we can just start with Fiddler at the beginning of 2027. And then go out and get away from CIC for our recording program.
It's 28,500 for year one, and then an annual renewal.
Yeah, there will be an annual renewal, which would be that $7,500 after that, plus the Bastion, which is on the Bastion side of that contract. That one, they kind of look at how much storage we have, so then in 3 years, the price is guaranteed for the first 3 years, and then after that, look at how much storage we're using and adjust the pricing from there. But they won't throw that in until they communicated with me, showing me what we're using for storage and all of that.
So it all works in with all the rest of the computer stuff, here's the problem.
Yeah, and we have it set up that whether they want it or not is an option. It can automatically send the deeds over to the clerks and the appraisers without the need for printing, and but we can still print. We can do the original process if that's the case. I would work that out with the department heads for the other offices.
And then would that cost them?
No, it's with this whole program.
So the initial cost of Bastion is going to be $7,000 annually. Is that correct?
Yes, for the first 3 years.
You have that capital outlay? I mean, you have that
Yeah,
money
everything.
set aside?
Yes, I have that in my capital outlay.
But do you have a budget, you'll incorporate it into your budget
Yes.
for 27?
Yeah, because it should all work into my technology funds, where it has already been paying for CIC.
I'd like to give a contract with CIC, does it run out then, or?
It's just every year.
Just every year, okay.
So I just plan at the end of next year to not renew that contract with them. We have so many times where we have tickets for things, customers that pay for subscription services with us can't access the services. I put in tickets and then they cancel my ticket and say that I should have troubleshooted their issues. So it just, to me, it doesn't make sense to keep paying for service that they don't want to provide a service. It's their job to provide that service. If their system is down, it's their job to look at it and say, hey, why is it down? It's not my job to figure out why it's down.
And counties around us have this?
Yeah, we have, so Brown County, Nemaha, Shawnee County have Fiddler. Most of them are going to Fiddler. It's a lot of talk about getting away from CIC with the other registers.
Laredo is,
It's part of Fiddler, yes.
okay.
That's what I was just gonna ask, so is that what is Laredo what your
Yes.
subscription people are paying?
Yes.
Okay. So do
They
you
just have
charge
so
them?
many different names for it. Yeah, so they have, Right now with CIC, it's just a standard fee, $500 a year is what Mary had set that to. It could be set to whatever we want. We could do tiers, but that was never a thing. We've had customers that we lost because of the price increase, so I did this year give 2 more options of either just a monthly or a weekly option, and we've had multiple people sign up for those. So they have it all worked out in here, like a tier system of what to charge that they say works great for all of the other offices.
The Laredo, that's what I'm looking at right now.
Yep. So that's what kind of they recommend for the pricing, which would actually increase our revenue if we priced it that way.
And as Linda asked, everything right now is in your capital outlay that you're paying for?
For this right here, yes.
Yeah.
For the initial, and then everything following would just come out of the town.
And the bastion wouldn't start until 27 when you start paying quarterly.
Right. Because we, there's a payment, where'd that go? It shows you the breakdown of what you pay with the implementation. I can't remember what that was. So they trickle it down for that whole fee, and then come to the anniversary date is when you start paying your normal contract fee. Yes. So then that anniversary date would be January 1st, 2028 is what we have in that contract.
Does anybody have any more questions?
Sure.
So do you want
Have
a,
you actually seen this demonstrated?
Yeah. Yeah, he came and demoed it for us. The whole functionality of it is so much better. It's a more streamlined process. Everything is in one screen instead of, right now with CIC, we have 3 to 4 screens open at a time just to do our normal processing.
Used it.
have you looked through the
I
contract?
didn't look, I didn't get the contract.
Would you like to look through the contract, and is this, in this contract is our little
Standard terms?
standard terms that we
I
have?
didn't see them, so
So I think we need to get that in there.
at least I didn't see the font, I'll say that. So, yeah, I don't think.
I would feel more comfortable if I looked over the contract, we got our standard terms in there.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't see any problem with it, what I've seen right here, so.
Okay, may I ask what your standard terms are?
Well, there's a single sheet that basically, it's Kansas law about, cash basis law, that if it's a longer term than a year, then we get out of it if we're going to appropriate, those little details, choice of law, stuff like that. So I can take a look at this and send that to you. It should be good to maybe just bring it up next meeting. I'm sure we'll be okay with it if they accept those terms. Do you have somebody dealing with?
I'm dealing with Mark Hutton from Fidler, and I can provide his contact
Yeah,
information.
if he's done any work with the state before, he's seen this kind of stuff. I'm surprised if Sean Kennedy's seen it. So, I'll take a look at the contract and send you those standard terms.
All right.
Alright, so
Thank
I'll
you.
just wait to hear back from you.
All right, sounds good, thank you, appreciate it.
Have a good day.
You too. Hi, Lisa.
Hello.
What you got?
I have questions on the tax.
Okay.
Okay. So, I just need to know how this is gonna go. Are you gonna sit down here and take care of everything?
Well,
I mean,
I will do all the documents and everything. I think the only question would be at this point is, and I think I told you, I don't think people have the right to redeem anymore, so they can't come in and pay them off. I think they have to bid. I don't know if you have anything not on the board to do that. Those were, only those people.
only these people. So they don't have the right to come in that, like, Friday night
No.
and pay it off, because that's kind of normally how we've always
Are
done
you
it.
sure?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll take a look at that again, because that was,
because I've got a couple on here that just have, like, 24, part of 24 taxes to pay off. There's a couple of them like that, I believe.
I mean, we had people come in Friday night before at 4 o'clock and
okay, well,
And pay it
I'll
off.
double check that, because that was, that's what I remember, but
I mean, because, it's not stated in that publication, is it?
no, I think it's the statute would say that because of the timing of it, you can't,
Okay, I didn't think it was that way,
because when you offer, well, anyway, I'll double check on that. Okay.
And the opening bid is what is listed here in the paper,
Well, if that's what you guys,
or
I mean, yeah, the opening bid would be, the county would be able to bid its lien. It's not a cash bid, meaning you're not supposed to get it with a check. It's a lien bid. Your first and prior lien is there plus cost is the first bid. And then the next person who wants to bid has to say $1,350. I'll pay that and plus 10,000, whatever the bid. And then when the money comes in, the tax lien is paid through that process, and then your county's lien goes away.
You have the ability to pull up the statute. Is it the state statute that says, determines whether, once it's published, whether an individual has the right to
Yeah,
pay
it's
it?
only statutory.
It's all, so you'd be able to look that up and get an answer here.
Well, yeah, probably I could try. I had trouble earlier getting into my West office, so I'm wondering if I got hit up here. One or the other, I would say. So,
Yeah, 'cause that would be important, that maybe in the past that's what's been done, but if that's what state statute is,
I don't think it is what state statute is.
okay. Do you have
I think
the
if
statute
you
somewhere?
go upstairs and look in that one book, it'll tell you.
Oh, that'd be great.
I mean,
yeah,
I think,
I'll take all information I can get you, because that's,
yeah, I think in that one book, it'll tell you. Information you have, I think it tells you.
yeah, I need statutory.
It's got statute with it.
Yes, I know. Sports facilities, if you let up till the time of the sale of their property, they have the right to redeem it.
Yeah,
That's
they actually have after, in foreclosure sale, which they usually have at least 90 days.
foreclosure, yeah.
Yeah, great.
I mean, I really think that
And longer
the
for federal.
papers, the law, they can pay it up until the time of the tax sale.
But
We always
that's a
cut it
di-
off the
Yeah,
Friday
that's
before.
the difference, and that's just my understanding from being involved in it before, that I've represented banks who didn't hit that mark and they got told.
And so, I guess I'm butting in here, we have a clerk of the court down there and take money. I think it reads a clerk of the court is supposed to be in charge of the money.
I think the sheriff gets the money first. The clerk is the registrar for the funds, meaning sheriff sells, sheriff takes cash, gives his report.
It's not sheriff's sale.
The sheriff's not that,
It's
yeah.
foreclosure sale.
It's foreclosure sale. The sheriff doesn't touch any of the money. He's gonna sell the property.
Sheriff's gonna sell the property.
The sheriff's gonna sell the property. He's gonna read the description and sell the property.
Okay, well, mechanically, maybe that's the case. I don't think there's a clerk, I didn't call her any clerk in there. court clerk.
Part of the court.
Or the court's supposed to be in charge.
Well, yeah, and I mean, he's a functionary of the sale, the money goes into the court's register,
Right.
meaning the court has money to count. It's supposed to be where all funds that are paid out to others goes.
Right.
That money goes in there. The sheriff files a report that says this is what was bid and this is what was paid. He's got a sheriff's deed, I think, is that he issues, so, because that's your title to the property. Right, because the buyer, the eventual buyer, if they're buying it from the sheriff is issuing the deed. And that sheriff's deed clears the title and warrants the title, right? Because the only way you get title, the owners aren't transferring title to you. They're voluntarily selling. And that happens in all foreclosures. At least they're all of them I've ever been involved with. That the sheriff's deed is one of the last things to a buyer outside. Does that make sense?
So let's get the statute, let's see.
The money is, I understand how the money goes, because the money would go first to the liens. So let's say it's $3,000 tax debt, it's the lien, and somebody bids $10,000, so about $10,000, and they're the winning bid. $10,000 goes into the pot, goes into the district court. The sheriff reports what the sale is. The district court issues an order that says, okay, here's how that money is distributed, and you can issue a sheriff's deed on these sales. So the money, $3,000 would go to the county, the remaining $7,000 would be either, if there's any claimants out there for that, they would get it, meaning banks or anybody else. But if not, then it would be returned to the owner of the property, because it's basically unclaimed, and that's what they sold it for. And then the sheriff issues a deed to the buyer. The buyer gets registered, and that is their good title.
We usually, did you include in there, we usually would file the deed with the register of deeds to be sure that it got filed. Otherwise, you'll have somebody buy a piece of property and sit here and not file it. And then they,
Well, yeah, I don't, as long as, if the bid terms are cash, then that's certainly not a problem. The sheriff's deed is not an issue.
we usually collected the register of deeds fee at the day of the sale,
Yeah, sure.
so that it could get filed. Because we ran into problems with people not filing the deed.
There's a number of documents that need to be prepared that I've got on my list.
Because basically, I don't think the sheriff's gonna do anything except sell the property.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm used to the form of the sheriff's deed just because as a lawyer, I'm looking at the top line, right? Because I want, in my abstract title going back, if I have a judicial sale, there needs to be a title transfer on record. It needs to be, and it's usually a sheriff's deed. And everybody recognizes that when I see the sheriff's deed on top, and what it is, I know exactly what happened. And it's good, and buyers downstream of that know that they have good title. There's no break in the chain. Okay, does that make sense?
Do you know that the room, did you reserve the room over there for that day?
Not yet.
Well, that's what I talked to.
I will.
I can't remember her name now, at the sheriff's office, and I said, is there a room or a place? She says, no, he's good at the courthouse. And I said,
But she's thinking of foreclosure.
yeah,
This is different, we usually do it over there in the room. There'll be a lot of people show up, you'll want chairs and stuff, and you'll want a microphone ready too.
Yeah.
okay.
It's different than just having the foreclosure sale out here, the
Not the sheriff's
Little
sale,
thing
it's
where
a
the
foreclosure sale.
people show up.
I mean, we had that room full.
We had it full last time.
Okay.
And then people complained they couldn't hear, that we needed a microphone because there were some people that had some little children and they couldn't hear very well.
Sure.
Yeah. But otherwise, foreclosure sale that, you know, they just stand out here at this table and the sheriff comes and does it, and there's like 4 or 5 people show up.
All right.
That's what she's thinking, she's new to it.
Okay, okay, well, I got misinformed on
Yeah, they say she doesn't know any different.
that. Well, that's, I think we're still good, so.
Yeah.
So they got, I guess they got published, so we're good with that, right? Or is that the one? What you got there, is that the one?
This is the new one.
Okay,
This is the new one.
just checking up on you on
And no,
Turn up on you.
and, let me see here. Are we taking check or cash or cash only? I mean, I've got people asking all kinds of questions, so.
Yeah, I've had no issue in the past with taking cash, but the statute says cash. I mean, here's the delineation in my mind is you have, you know, cash money or you have certified funds. I mean, the problem with the check, this check is, you know, negotiation of that. So I take input on that. My normal operating procedure would be cash or certified funds.
Cash or certified funds, but certified funds would also be that if they have a letter from the bank stating that they are able to write a check up to and including the amount of XXX.
Yeah, that would be the same,
Okay.
yeah. Those are, I seem to remember instructions somewhere in my things I was going to do. It had something like that. Is that, you remember that?
We usually just, if we took a check, we waited until the court cleared it through the bank before we ever filed anything.
Yeah, and that's,
We wouldn't let anything be filed unless we knew it was
well, and
cleared.
that's, I guess that's the question. And the fallback is still, you know, I'm certain there wouldn't be any transfer of title
Right,
until funds cleared.
right.
In any case, it's just a matter of if you have an active bidding situation, if the top bid can't cover the cash, then you know you should take the bid, right? Because you end up you can't unring that bell. So I mean that's.
I mean, to me, there should be somehow to certify that they have the letter from the bank saying they are certified to X amount of dollars,
Yeah,
or they have a certified check sitting right there. But the problem with certified check is though that you can only go, you have to have an amount on there to get it from the bank network. So
Right.
you're kind of hosed either way.
And
So
once in a while, you'll have a person that bids because they have it, and then they'll leave and go to the bank and come back with their
Yes.
certified check. They'll already talk
Yeah.
to the bank and, you know
and that's
that they can go get it.
well, it's all up to you guys. In my mind, it seems like it's fair, not you're going to get the better price if people have some flexibility. In the
Right.
sense of not having to tender funds right away, as far as a cash bid is concerned, that has a certain amount of time.
Right.
To make good.
What time is it? How much time is it? I mean, is that by statute? Do we determine that? Have you done that in the past?
I mean, they've done it within the time limit that we've been over there,
What the time limit for which you were there?
yes. You know, you had somebody go across to the bank or, you know,
Well, what if their bank
I
is
know.
big?
and I don't
Yeah.
know. the answer.
I mean, what time does it say?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock in the morning.
10 o'clock.
And how soon do they normally run through? I mean, 2 hours,
And they are.
an hour?
Yeah,
Okay,
we
so.
know we got it.
So I think then that probably the fair way to do it and the easiest way to do it would be close of business that day. Certified funds have to be in your hands by close of business that day, or it reverts back to the next bidder. Does that sound?
If that's our option to do that,
Yeah,
and not stated statutorily that it has to be some other way, I'm fine with that by close of business.
I mean, probably my thought would be right now, let's just circle back next Monday. I'll send the answers to all this, and then And it goes to the forums and then we can all patch through some details.
Okay.
And make sure we're all,
Write up kind of a procedure so
okay.
Yeah,
people know too.
and, because we need to get, we've got a list to send out to notify them of this sale, so.
Okay. The people who are interested in the information. Okay. Well, what room is that in that Memorial Hall? then?
Next one.
Okay. Well, what else do we got that should be answered in this?
Page 4, page 5.
That abstract fee is included, I gave that to you and that's included in this.
Yeah, everything that you told me is divided up amongst those.
Except for the report expenses, those
Oh,
are
yeah, those are in there too.
in this
I
total.
think there's the filing fee and the first publication fee. For the initial notice of suit.
Okay.
And then, so, if you guys have got a fee for filing the deed, you're saying, is one cost, is there any other cost? I've got this cost of publication. So, that's something that would be taken out of the proceeds. Notify, or, yeah,
Abstract fee, that's in this.
the only thing would be from the date of that, I think, you've incurred publication costs of that, you've incurred deed, you'll incur deed filing, if you incur anything else that's a cost. You're not gonna abstract it again.
Mhm.
Okay.
What about the $195 report filing?
That was in there.
That was in there.
I think it was actually waived because the county doesn't have to pay that.
I'm sure I'll be emailing.
Well, that's what I'm for. So, email away. All right,
All right,
we'll talk next week about,
We have a time to break.
thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.
All right.
This is what we appropriate, right? This is right here. Okay, perfect. Yeah, just look at it, pass on that word, and then we'll have action on it after we grab it.
Oh, okay. So is there any reaction from that?
You know, that would have hurt. That's what I've heard several public.
I'm sure. Somebody still has that.
She leave.
Maybe she's up there.
We're gonna vote on this. And the only way we can increase this is if we do it for next year. And we do it for everybody. He's wanting, this will be 37.50. And so. $250. Well, Valley, correct, they're wanting an increase. They're wanting an increase in that. So the only way to do that is for the 27 year, put that in the appropriation year, and do that for all taxes.
Yeah, well, there is the appropriation.
Right, so is there a way that you can track this for our conversation in 26? So that when we get ready to have this conversation about appropriations, we can refer back to this, that we want to look at an increase.
Have my budget book started.
Very good.
Oh my gosh.
So basically,
Can we just get done with the budget?
I'm getting ready to amend the budget if we need to, so you know, it's just a budget year around.
basically,
Yeah, let's look at bumping up next year if we can, see what we can do.
they're asking for an increase. And I'll email Kevin Taylor back and let him know that that's kind of the procedure and how that would be done. That once the appropriations are set, we can increase it.
Yeah.
And we'll take a look at for the 27 year.
Right, because 26 budget's already set.
And that's what he's asking for is the 26
Yep.
appropriation. So I'll email him back.
So that one's already been taken care of. Do we need a motion to, for the planning board and appeals board?
I move to approve the names on the Jackson County Planning Commission members and zoning appeals board members for 2025 for a 3-year term.
Yep.
A 3-year term.
I'll second.
Okay, it's properly moved and seconded to approve the planning board and appeals board members for their 3-year terms.
This is the new people.
To renew some, and we'll put some more on, yes. For the, to finish out their existing terms and for the new 3-year terms.
Yeah, some were appointed earlier, but for the new ones.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye, all opposed same sign. And we have already appropriated $5,000 out of the Parks Fund, correct? Out of the Parks and Recs Fund for the
Correct.
Rural Valley Ball Association,
Which include Hoyt and Mayetta.
which includes
That's why
Hoyt
the
Mayo.
amount is $5,000.
And we will look at possibly increasing those appropriations for next year.
Can I have a copy of that too?
And has everybody looked at the email from Bruck? Have you seen that, Todd?
No, it's roughly,
Okay.
So you didn't do that last week?
Bruck Smith, what's that?
You didn't do that last week?
Do what?
From her email. I think she emailed last night.
Is the new one?
I haven't made her yet.
You know, I didn't see it last week, no.
Okay.
Nope.
Yeah, that's not
Let me forward that on to you then, so you can take a look at this. All right, that one's gone. No, I didn't see it came in last week.
I got you.
Did you see that email from Rick came in last week?
You asked me last week. I'm trying to grab these documents. It's not. No. First cousins, your mothers, your sisters.
All right.
I thought about
Well,
that.
that answers that
I
question.
thought about that later.
So these ones have to come to public
I don't know. Tell you what. Sure.
Yeah, do that.
no, I'm good with this.
First you could tell us who's on them.
You're good with that?
Yeah, I mean, policy's your choice, but
Yeah.
performance fee.
And who's on it.
I don't either have to work. Matt, Tom, and as well.
Strong.
Because I thought they usually have. I didn't ever see it anywhere.
So did you take a look at Rick's email?
Did somebody just send it?
No, it should have came out. This was commissioners last Monday.
Okay.
And I totally missed it. Oh, I guess it was today.
Oh, I thought it said last Monday on.
11/3. No, it is 11/3. I forwarded it on 11/3.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I think she's just wanting to create an agreement
Agreement
between.
between us and Johnson County.
Sure, I'm good with that
That's
because
okay.
it's $150
Yeah,
a day less.
yeah.
So,
Alright. So, I would entertain a motion to approve the housing agreement between Jackson County, Kansas and Johnson County, Kansas.
so
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the agreement for county juvenile housing between Jackson County, Kansas and Johnson County, Kansas. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. So, do you want to try and print that out, or you want me to try and print
you want me to print?
it? Yeah,
I think that's
because last week mine didn't work, so. So,
we'll see.
all right, perfect.
Unless you charge them.
Well, you know, Chris could use like 80,000 color copies one month, so.
Yeah, I did, I used a bunch of them. I'm not do that before we're going.
See if it-
Sneaky.
Yeah,
That's good.
Perfect.
That's how you know it's the real power.
there you go.
I won't charge you much.
So you gone through and started the email that I forwarded to you, Todd?
Yeah, I kind of skimmed it. I didn't really dig. I guess you're talking about the Republican Party.
Yes.
I mean, and the only way I could comment in detail would be, I mean, one, they either actually, just talk a lot about what the law says and what common law is and stuff.
But there's
They don't
no site.
cite anything.
Yeah.
So I'd have to figure it out backwards from what they said. Or they could, somebody could write it back and say, that's interesting assertion, please tell me your actual legal support for it, if anything. And that saves you guys time, if you want to respond at all, for me to figure out what they're citing to and then
Well, I mean,
read it. And then
with everything that they're citing here, and I have not gone through everything, but what they're citing here, I mean, and as you say, they are not giving any sources, so that puts the burden on the writer to provide us with some statutes, some actual evidence of what he's saying.
Yeah, I think just generally the idea that the county, I mean, they're saying essentially in some respects the county does have authority for a zone, which is not really corresponding with anything. It just doesn't make sense because the authority is, I mean, the authority is there statutorily for the county to use zoning, so permitting, yeah, I mean, I guess that could be argued because I don't know if there's any, but you're still a statutory non-rural entity, so I mean, this idea that there's some kind of floating exemption that counties can't do, I don't get it. You know, I agree that there's a specific statute that says thou shalt not do X,
Right.
that you guys have to jump, either you can't do it or you have to jump through more hoops than you do normally to get that done. It's like a charter resolution. But without the source of what they're saying, I'm not really, forensically it would take me forever to figure out what they're
Yeah, I
saying.
mean, so what they're, and that's what I was getting at. There is nothing in here that I've seen so far that cites any sources, cites any statutes other than I believe and I've heard and so on and so forth. Well, then cite me some statutes.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, give me the authority for what your position is.
My guess is it's just a discussion because this meeting was going to happen.
Sure.
But I don't know who was part of the discussion.
I mean, like I say, if they're gonna say we can't do this and we can't do that, then it's the burden of proof's on them, not us, is all I'm saying. So, I mean, I appreciate the information, but until I can see some factual,
Something else I was thinking of that didn't make sense.
until I see something factual and something statutory, then I'm just disregard it. So,
I know, I think all the building stuff is a lot of.
And probably other comment was just what I said, is that there really is, you're right, the statute doesn't say anything about attached, I think, to a foundation, but again, the statute says improvement of property. So, I mean, there's gotta be a practical way that becomes something, right? And if the choices are, you value it according to real estate standards for real estate tax, or personal property tax, you're getting a benefit, I guess, of 5%. Right?
right.
Unless they get an exemption, which all exemptions are through Court of Tax Appeals, so it doesn't change that factor. And there's a lot of policy statements in here for you guys to parse out. Age of folks and the homesteading movement. So I'm getting it, don't do anything on that, just, they want to come back with a brief,
Yeah,
we'll take a look.
that's kind of where I'm at. Is that general consensus?
Yes. Did you respond to them, or somebody respond to them, or just say?
Nope.
Am I up now? Is that?
Sure.
Okay.
You are up. Sorry.
Sorry. It was more just clean up stuff too. Did the Shawnee County Bridge thing get signed off on? I don't remember that.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to get that off. That's clear. The other one on this is you guys signed the resolution.
Yes.
Okay, is that sent to people by somebody, or is that supposed to be sent by email?
I think we said you're going to have clerk send it as to all three entities as registered mail return receipt request. I believe what you
Back
said.
up, I catch what we're talking about.
For the resolution for the nuclear facility. And you were gone last week, weren't you?
I didn't hear anything after that.
Yeah. No, we signed it.
I'm supposed to be doing that.
Yes. Let's see.
There is, send it by email to East Department of Commerce.
That was it on my list. Checking up on those things. We've already covered. I guess at 11 o'clock we have stuff coming in on the building thing.
Yep.
Don't get any legal trouble like that.
Try not to. Oh. That's immediate. Get your couple addresses for the sell those stuff.
Yeah, that was it. Ross that went out the door. I just stepped out and told him to send congratulations. They're headed out there tomorrow to see.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
Hi. Morning.
Hey, guys.
Morning.
You can sit up here.
No, you can sit up here. I won't call you till 11, since you're on the agenda at 11. That way, if anybody else wants to come in.
All right.
How y'all doing?
Pretty good.
Enjoying this nice brisk weather?
Yes.
I'm not.
Just starts flying.
Yeah.
David's sister lives in Illinois, and it was snowing there yesterday. She sent a picture. I don't think we got very much of the snow.
Cold weather up drying corn, huh?
Yeah.
Christie, I'm gonna send something else over there to Pruett here. I get to do it twice around.
So yeah, trying to cook lunch.
What?
Yeah, you'll be in town to cook lunch when you're finished.
There's no difference. What's up with you?
Are you keeping busy appraising?
Oh,
Yeah.
Money. More than one sometimes.
Is that right?
More than one.
It takes away from your time. So you work for, do you do it for all the banks or just?
I do quite a few things, yeah.
Banks?
I go from Holt-Fidler County to Marshall, or Washington, and down to the state, basically. I don't, try to stay out of the right way, but that's giving away to nothing.
Is that right?
You do appraisals for everything, or is it just,
Lending, a lot of tax preparation, IRS,
okay,
family planning.
yeah, but of, homes, buildings?
Yeah, ag and limited,
Ag investments.
very limited commercial stuff, yeah. Commercial is kind of just your storage warehouse, maybe like small town hall. Most of the time, it's not the big stuff.
Have you seen a big increase in what you've been appraising residential wise?
It seems like it's starting to tick back up around Holt here. The higher end homes anyways.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people want to build and just the construction cost and the interest rate. So it's buying something instead. So the few that I've done, it's kind of slowed down how much is sold for the last year probably.
Well, if the interest rate keeps ticking down,
Yeah.
that may pick back up for you.
Yeah.
But the prices are still up there.
Oh, they are. I don't know, maybe quarter more I do residential, rest of it's ag.
Christie, I'm saying long. It'll be a couple of pages.
I think you just said no.
Huh?
And I think you just said no.
But I need to put some money in the machine. It's sweat card.
Well, it's just last.
Anybody wants to read that, that was an email, I don't know if you got it from Matt Baker.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you did? Never mind.
Yep, we all have. That's for saying, you know who's on that committee? Who's on the building committee? I don't know.
Good day.
Yeah,
Dave Lincoln?
you like it?
I do not know. I've never heard of them having a meeting, so I don't,
We usually publish it in the paper because it's open to anybody.
right, but I've not seen one.
Me either.
I don't know when that one was
I don't,
held, when he gathered all that information.
I don't.
We have one of these, oh, it's just the chair needs to sign it
What's that?
for the, oh, you were right, for Jerica, yeah.
Yeah. Whose house is for sale?
It's Christmas. I don't know now.
I heard that's what you said.
No, you're Carson.
That's what I thought there.
Yeah.
We didn't have any sites in there.
So that is behind there to that east.
General, that case
Oh, it's a newer module than the one we made.
So it's a module.
It was a big two-story
Yeah,
there, and
Like I said, if somebody wants
On
to,
the basement.
it's really not a bad deal for me to cite cases and statutes, so let's see it. If somebody wants to say that to them.
I mean, it's a lot of room for Christmas decisions.
I may email you back. Cite your case study.
That's the place. Better sell it.
Somebody had it on the internet, and had pictures and stuff, I'm like, you can imagine.
But it's behind the construction duplex.
Okay. So it must have finished basement too.
Yeah, it's got finished. It's up on like half of the walk, I think. I don't have that walk.
It's just, it's a lot better.
Yeah, it is. Vermont's place. They're on 3rd Street. That's what you talk
Like this stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
All right, guys, what you got?
Well, so we have a portable building. I have my building on this property currently. And I think you talked to him about
I received a letter over a month ago about, it needing to be taxed and, about a building permit for it. And I contacted the appraiser's office, I went up there and told them it was a portable building, we bought it that way, it was on skids, we were actually going to move it to another one of our places. It's used for cabin season. And they informed me that it was gonna have to be taxed and, go on the tax levy. And I told them it was portable, and they said, oh, it's above 350 square feet and everything. And then I contacted Linda about it, talked about it, and then after that, I was kind of under the impression that maybe that was the rest for now. Last Monday, 2 people from the appraiser's office showed up. I wasn't up there, but he was at the driveway, and they were prepared. They were going to drive back to our feedlot where this building was. And he stopped them
and talked to what they're doing. They said, we're here to inspect this new building. And I said, this is the newest one, and right there was our process when we put in several years ago. And
And we had a building
permits for all that everything. I said, well, no, this is a building that's this dimension. I said, well, that's portable. No, she said it's over 350 square feet, it's gotta go on your tax roll. No, she said, well, this is coming from the state office. She said that it needs to be done in the next 6 years, that if it's not, it will be removed. And I'm like, who's gonna remove it? And they just said, well, it can be removed. She said, we're trying to put them on your land taxes, so it's taxed 11% compared to 30% on personal property. And I said, well, it's neither or. And she said, well, I said, we'll worry about it in 6 years. So they left. So then I contacted another county that I'm familiar with and work with, and explained the same thing to them. She said, we don't know nothing about this. So then she passed me on to the person in the state, and I talked to Mike, who was with the state property valuation office, and I explained it to him, and he just kind of chuckled. He said, well, nothing like that coming from our office. And I said, even if it was, he said, it would be listed as exempt. So he said he called me back, and he called me back a little later that afternoon, and under the state statute KS 79-201J, it is listed as anything used for a farm ranch that would be tax exempt. So
guess I'm kind of.
City statute, just go
But
back.
I
79201J.
Yes, 79-201 J. And then if that comes from the state, then property valuation is. And so I guess they want to put on taxable, then it doesn't matter what's taxed at, it's zero.
Well, here's two grace notes on what you heard, that I heard differently in the sense that I think when the appraiser said they have to go on, the state required it, they're talking about state statute requires they visually inspect everything once every 6 years. Or
6 years or 7 years.
I can't
They have to do a portion. Of
of the county. So I'm thinking maybe they were saying that as being the requirement, not that the building is or isn't taxed. It's just we have to go out and look at property and they divide it to county however they divide it.
Okay.
The other thing is that I think the way you get that exemption, to my understanding, it's not automatic. It has to be requested to the county and then goes to the state court tax office. And normally these are 3-page forms.
So it's very similar if you buy a UTV or an ATV. Everybody can buy one, but in order to get tax exempt for farm use, you come up here and do it. It's the same way on that. But at this point, we haven't made a decision on some of what you've said as a Board of County Commissioners. There has been, I don't know, a myth or a just general thought for a lot of people that if it's portable, you can't tax it. So you could literally put railroad ties or something under a 50-foot long building and say it's not taxable. But we've got to, as a group, we have to make a decision of how these are going to be handled. And we haven't done that yet. We're going to have a conversation today. And if it's for ag use, great. Then that's how it will be approached. Part of where all this came from was we have a flyover done, we photograph the county, and then it alerts us to new structures.
We do 1/6 of the county.
Well, no, we do the entire county.
Well, we do the entire county, but it's a portion every year, from the way I understand it.
Not the photography. The photography is the entire county.
I thought Keith said that they did only.
She is only
one year.
required by
Okay.
state statutes to do a physical look at 1/6 of the county every year. We bought this software because it was a whole lot cheaper to buy the software than it was to hire another employee. And so it does a great job of recognizing when something's been added onto a house or whatever. And so in order to make sure that buildings that are fixed to the ground are being taxed appropriately, because we all want to pay our fair share, whether, no matter what. I know you know that. That's why we do that, but there were over 300 structures that were not, there was no building permit. And for ag use, you guys know, if you're going to build a 3-side cattle or machine shed or whatever, you get a building permit, there's no cost for it. But the other portion of that, to help people understand, is so that somebody doesn't accidentally build a floodplain or doesn't accidentally build too close to somebody's property line. And we've got one of those going on right now because we've got to be able, that's just our way of recording that. But to your situation with this portable building, it's kind of like a portable hog shed, portable chicken shed. And we're going to actually have a conversation about fixed structures. What should be building permit? What size they should be?
That's my question. I've heard this 350 square feet
It
twice
is.
now, and it's like, well, where's this coming from?
It's in our in this big book, and I have a list of questions, but I've been going over it, and I have that down as something that we're going to look at changing, because I mean, if you go out and build a chicken house, doesn't take much to get over 350 square feet, but do we need a building permit for a chicken house? There are some things like that we want to take a look at to make this easier for folks like you to navigate, to understand, because there's a lot of myth out there. I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard, about the whole, if you build a building on skids, it's not taxable. According to Kate, and according to what the state requires, is that it's either, if it's a fixed building, it's personal, or it's ad
It's an
valorem.
improvement on, yeah, it's real estate.
It's real estate. But if it's not, then it is considered like a UTV. It's a piece
Personal
of personal property. And so if you want it exempt, then you have to come in and say, okay, this is for ag use. Because you and I both know, everybody in the county would say everything's ag use. I mean, you do a point. I'm just being frank with you. But you separate the wheat from the chaff here. It is what it is. And so, as a county, we have to try to balance the regulations so that they're not so overwhelming, but yet we are all sharing in that tax burden. I mean, because at the end of the day, it doesn't work if just a few were to foot the bill.
Sure.
And so, sorry, I've kind of talked
No,
to
you're
probably
good.
need to.
I say, I was under the same impression that you guys were, that
Oh, for
portable
sure.
buildings, were not, and I said, so I'm guilty of it too. I didn't get a building permit when I had my, Vicky bought one of those things out there on the highway, right?
Yep.
No, well,
It's the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, she brought it out there on the highway, had to come sit at the yard, said, I want, that's my chicken house. I said,
with
"Okay,
the intent, and we're getting ready to move it to another property.
Right.
And I was told that day, well, you'll be taxed for it, and then we're gonna move it, that property will be taxed too.
No, no, no.
No,
And it's like, and I told him, I said, well, that ain't happening.
no, no.
Yeah.
But, so we're working, trying to get this straightened out, trying to get things figured out,
But one issue that I do have is if he hadn't been up there at our driveway, they're gonna drive through my feedlot
Right.
to get back to that.
Yeah.
And I don't need people showing up, getting out, who knows where they've been, the disease they could be carrying.
Yep.
Nobody contacted us or anything.
I agree 100% with you.
I was pretty upset about that.
Our policy, and you guys correct me, but when Justin would go out and do these inspections, he's wearing a vest, he's got identification, he goes with
And he had contacted
He had
us
contacted me.
years past.
Yes.
and says, here's what I'd like to do if you'd like to be present while I'm there.
Yep. He was good
And,
about
yeah, I don't want anybody going on anybody's property, especially in a hog facility or chicken facility or cattle facility, like you said, who knows what's on their shoes.
Because this building sits in the middle of our feedlot, and the only way to it is through our feedlot. Like I said, if he hadn't been up there and stopped them,
On your, I'm a neighbor.
I know, but it,
It needs to be brought to their attention.
I mean, it is, they got our numbers.
Right.
I work a lot of them in that office, and things, I'm afraid of anything, it's easily called.
yeah.
but my question, let me ask this.
Sure.
It falls within 350 feet, so when we bought it, if I bought it with the intent of just cutting it in half, spreading it apart 6 inches, then we exempt it.
You guys are working real hard.
No, I know what you mean.
I mean,
You understand?
yeah, well, my biggest question, why is this all coming to light now? We've had this for more than 6 years.
Because right now, what they're doing is they're taking all these photographs that they had of buildings that were, so when did you move it over there?
Well,
It was brought there, what, 7, 8 years ago?
So it's been there that long.
And we've actually moved it a couple places on his property.
Yeah.
It's just getting recognized as something that, what the software is saying is, it wasn't there last year, now it's there, and it says you need to take a look
It's
at
an
this.
anomaly.
And so that's why they're supposed to go out and inspect and determine size, and then also whether it's portable or not, and then go from there. But that's why.
The first thing you gotta distinguish is that permitting is a question first. That's not, that has anything really to do with taxation, right? Because we don't have any way to track this, then it's, it's a mystery of why that's there, what is attached, because they don't even, you can't tell from that, usually from that angle.
Correct.
And we have a building that was just flat out built in floodplain, That should be, because there is a permit. And so, that's the first, I mean, I don't think that affects the taxation of a bit, just tracking wise, they have something that they can say, we've had this and we know what it is.
Well, we're not trying to get around anything, because we've got building permits for every structure that we built. And you know, when this was hauled in on a trailer, the fact that it actually is blown over laying on its roof right now. You know, and they come out and tell you this, and then the lady the other day says, well, it will be removed. Well, I don't think so. You know, I just.
No.
No, that's.
No, it's unfortunate, because we have, like I said, there's 300 of these that we're going.
Sure.
Okay, so now we have to send somebody out, and it really is just getting out to the public. I mean, come in and ask for a building permit. If it's ag-related, there's no charge. They can help. It's supposed to be helpful in the process. And if it isn't ag-related, you know, then we go the other route.
Understandable.
Yeah.
But we weren't aware that we need a building.
And like I say, neither was I, so I'm as guilty as you are, I told them that.
You know, I mean, I guess if I'd have known, yeah, we came in and did our due diligence on it.
And we're gonna work through those. Again, there's a lot of this stuff in this book that I think some of it actually contradicts itself. You know, put a for sale sign up by, you know, Joe's Realty. You have to have a permit. But then you read on, and then you don't. They talk about landscaping. There's a lot of that stuff and other things that we want to go through to try to make this process simpler for the taxpayer. Because at the end of the day, it needs to be simple.
Well, like I said, one of my biggest issues was somebody was
For sure.
driving in. And
We will address that.
that feedlot sitting there, and I just, it's not acceptable.
I 100% agree with you.
Justin's
Thank you,
not
Joe.
up there anymore.
Yeah, I knew that.
But he had contacted us in the past, and it was very nice, and, you know,
When I had on, so he contacted me, and I said,
Yeah.
come out this day, and he said, okay, when you come out, make sure now.
Yeah, appreciate you guys coming up.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yep, good to see you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
See ya.
take care.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, we're all good.
I think you got somebody back there telling them what they. She's full of it.
Got time to get to your township.
Yep, that's plenty time, no problem.
So one of the things that was brought up in this email was a concrete pad does not qualify as a structure. And I had this conversation with Kate the other day about a concrete pad. You have to have a building permit. Again, it goes back to, you may be building a concrete pad just to set something on. If you build it in a floodplain and you sell the property, or you build it too close to someone else's property, and then you erect, then somebody, the next person comes along and erects a structure on it, thinking, well, there's a concrete pad here, I should be able to. Those are all things we don't think about that can affect things later. But
The definitions usually of the structure is more about the construction and the vertical element.
not the concrete pad.
Yeah, it's just, I think that
Yeah.
what she's saying is a, you know, concession to the portable nature of it, because it would be a structure because it's vertical and they're getting a benefit of the doubt there because.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the whole having a building permit for a concrete pad.
I'm having a what?
Concrete pad, you have to have a building permit up for it. If you're gonna pour a porch on your house, you have to have a building permit, really?
If you're gonna build a porch or a deck on your house, yes.
They did.
But a flat concrete pad, there again, I would
That's
put a
what I'm
concrete pad out in the back of your house and put a dog pen on it, you know.
Right, and they're saying that you have to have a building permit for that.
Well, guess
So
what?
those are all-
I'm in violation here too.
No, I get it, that's what
They're gonna come throw me in jail for long.
that's what I'm saying. Those are some of the things that we need to go through this. And in my conversation with Kate, she said, I'll step you through, but it's our responsibility to make these changes. And I don't know that she's willing to give a lot of opinion.
My thought on these is if it's not statutorily wrong, then it's right.
Where do you get the statute from?
From the state. The state doesn't say anything about concrete pads. Where do they say anything about concrete pads?
Because I don't look for the state on guidance on all of that. I mean, an incorporated city can make a decision that the state statutorily wouldn't say has to be done. I mean, if that's the case, I don't know that the state has statute on any of the zoning regulations that we have. This was produced by a group of
Riggs
25.
Association.
Huh?
This was done by Riggs Association with zoning.
Right, but the comprehensive plan, for instance.
Sure.
So that was put together prior to the tribe ever having zoning and planning.
Mhm.
There were 6 people off that, of those 25 people that sat off the tribe. Well, should that be revisited because now they have their own zoning and planning, and maybe that comprehensive plan needs to be looked at to see if there are changes. And do we put together a committee that wants to look at that and look at our zoning?
Okay, as far as the comprehensive plan, if I remember correctly, didn't the planning board go over the comprehensive plan a year ago, a year and a half ago, something like that?
Not that I'm aware of.
I thought they'd gone over it.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, I'd like to say, I thought that I'd heard that they went over it, so.
We did made some changes in zoning and planning.
So yeah, I think that there are a lot of things in there that we need to take a look at and try to do some changing to, and there again, like a concrete pad, I don't see that the concrete pad's that big of a deal, because as you said, if somebody pours a concrete pad out close to the property line, and they sell it, and somebody decides they want to build something on it, what's the first thing you're gonna do?
Well, you'd think they'd have to get a building permit.
There you
but
go.
Obviously, there are a lot of people who don't realize that.
Yep.
And
So then they catch it on the flyover, and it's gonna be the same thing that,
so what do? Make them tear it down?
what are we doing down in the floodplain?
But
Yes,
if it's built too close to a property line,
so yes, it doesn't meet setbacks, so you're gonna have to make them tear it down.
you're gonna have, I don't know that you have to make them tear it down, but you're gonna have a negotiation between the 2 landowners and get a, I think it's called a waiver, but they've done it before where somebody was within that 40 foot and the 2 landowners agreed that it was okay.
If that happens, that's fine,
But
but if
it's
the
done
one landowner
through-
says, no, I ain't doing that,
Right.
then, what other option do they have? So, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of things in there that we need to take a look at and see what we can do to make it easier for the citizens of Jackson County. But I think one of the things the citizens of Jackson County need to realize too is that most of our surrounding counties to the east and the north are not zoned.
Okay.
So their regulations are a lot different than ours because they don't have any regulations. So I mean, what I'm saying is, when Andy said I called neighboring county, I don't know if he called Nemaha or who, but
I'm sure it was
they're not zoned.
right, and he knows that.
So it's going to be totally different than what ours is, what I'm saying. Thank you.
And then,
It was 11:30, right?
huh?
Did you have something from 9:30 to this morning in conference or
9 to 11. It was on a new system because they're going to be obsoleting the system that we use in 2030. So it's looking at a new system.
something?
Yeah.
Start from scratch or?
And I have to look into it further. I noticed the logo was still the same parent company, like Untitled Technologies, so I don't know if they're just doing away with the Ryan tax and assessment, and they've got something new that is completely different, so.
Do and improve. No, you don't want to go with that?
We don't have a choice. By 2030, it's not going to be a thing. So, the last conversion was 2010.
No. So it's been quite a while then.
No.
It's 2025, that's 15 years. For technology, that's old.
It's conversion is a huge thing.
Yes. Like I say, for technology, that's old. Way old.
I'm not. We'll see. Keep it up in mind.
It's everything all the way around, because it's got a whole across the clerk's office, yeah, everywhere.
Christie saying, no, thanks for
So apparently it was a good thing that we didn't all go with Orion. Yeah. With personal property and the tax side and all of that, that would have really been bad. I don't know. So I've got employee stuff to talk about.
Okay.
Um,
Need executive session?
Yeah.
For how long?
15 minutes,
Okay.
maybe, if that.
Entertain a motion to go into executive session for matters of non-elected personnel, employee performance.
Sure.
Okay.
For a period of 15 minutes to reopen this chambers to include our clerk, Kate. That's my motion.
Second.
Yes, properly moved and seconded to go into executive session for non-elected personnel, matters of employee performance for 15 minutes. Clerk, Kate, any further discussion?
To begin at,
To begin at 11:30. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign, motion carried.
And we'll definitely have the conversation of procedure and what that looks like on our side, like how we do it.
Sure.
And then we'll go from there.
Sounds like a plan.
So you'll be back at 1?
Yeah.
And
Thanks, Kate.
we have a payroll change here for the appraiser's office.
But you know, have you ever had people tell you that they feel like they're not accessible to pay for it back there in the corner? I've heard it how many times? I mean, when I was upstairs, but I've heard it since then too. You know, you can't actually get to her to visit with her. It's not very healthy. I don't know that it's our place to tell her that, but you don't know how many times I've heard that, and I think it makes a big difference.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, everything else comes first. You ready?
I do.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Are we gonna adjourn or just recess?
It's a work session,
So
so.
that's what you're, okay, that's fine.
No,
I'll second
that's what we've got down here, it's a work session, so.
Okay,
We're
perfect.
gonna adjourn this meeting, we'll reconvene here at 1 o'clock for a work session.
All right, thank you.
Do I hear a motion?
Yeah, she motioned.
Okay, all right. Proper moved and seconded to adjourn this meeting. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. We'll be back there at 1 o'clock for a work session.
Sounds like a plan, thank you.
All right.